So in this video, I'm going to discuss the cost of living in Lisbon, Portugal for us as digital nomads and find out whether living in Lisbon is actually really cheap. So welcome to our first costs video vlog. We're going to be discussing monthly costs that we incurred as digital nomads living in Lisbon. But before we get into that, for those that are new here, my name is TJ and this is TJ and B Traveling. We are full-time-ish travelers. We've started this channel to give true travel information, share our experiences and memories, and maybe inspire you to travel as well. We're doing videos about all the destinations that we're going to, costs of living, daily life vlogs, and if you want to keep up and help out, subscribe to our channel. Give us your comments below. Videos like this are very interesting, particularly for digital nomads, particularly for this current time where we are living, where the cost of living everywhere worldwide seems to be rising. And so it's interesting to see which countries are really affordable to live, particularly as we start to work more and more online. So right, we just spent 2 months living in Lisbon, Portugal, and because we're kind of nerdy, we tracked everything on a spreadsheet so I can tell you exactly the costs that we incurred whilst living in Lisbon and how much it cost for us. Here is how I'm going to categorize the costs. Housing and accommodation, groceries, restaurants and eating out, cafes and kind of drinking out, transportation, and then other fun activities. Okay, so let's start with our accommodation. You can easily find rent in Lisbon for $500 to $700 a month, or even less if you just rent a room in somebody else's house. For us as a couple, that didn't really work because we wanted our privacy, particularly because we also often work from home and we'll spend long hours working from home. It's just a bit of a disturbance living with other people. So we decided to rent our own apartment. And if you're looking for a long-term stay, I really do recommend Airbnb, just because of its simplicity and volume of availability, price and reliability. You're not really going to get ripped off on Airbnb. Whilst you might be paying a little bit more than like some of the really sneaky local deals that you can do, you're minimizing the risk because to sign up for Airbnb, like the hosts have to go through a certain process. So that just saves you the headache and the risk of falling into some real dodgy accommodation and fall into an unfortunate situation. We haven't done that so far. We've been traveling to loads of different places and Airbnb has worked out for us just fine. We rented a small-ish 2-bedroom apartment, real close to all of the things that we had interest in, particularly Beatrice's rugby, the gym. It was like a 3 to 5 minute walk to the metro station, a 3-minute walk from the grocery store, and it was a real nice area with lots of things going on, which worked out really well for us because then we saved a lot on any sort of transportation that we needed. Like we could have traveled by Uber because Uber is actually really cheap in and around Lisbon, but we rarely did that because of the convenience of our location and everywhere was really close. So we basically walked and got the metro to every single place that we wanted to go. And for that apartment, it cost us $950 a month, including all utilities, internet, and everything you get. Another advantage of Airbnb is that you're not paying, well, mostly you're not paying for electricity or extra bills on top of the rent that you'll be paying for your accommodation. So whilst it wasn't the cheapest, it was the most convenient for us. Our host was exceptional and the location just made it really easy for us to get around and enjoy our time in Lisbon. So the grocery bill for the month was $400. That's including bathroom and cleaning stuff. That also includes a few extra pots and pans or whatever we needed at the time to cook. Obviously it includes the actual groceries themselves. We eat at home quite a lot, especially like our lunches and most dinners as well. We do go out and we have a few meals out. But for the most part, we're going to eat at home. When we were in Lisbon, we cooked ahead of time. We batch cooked like lots of stuff just because it then became easy to then go out and not have to worry about food. And that's just kind of how we do it. That price, that $400 grocery bill can be more or less depending on how much you eat, because we do eat a lot, we train a lot, and you know, we eat quite a lot as well. So next we've got eating out at restaurants. We separated eating out at restaurants and dining at restaurants and coffee places and bakeries, just because for us, they're kind of different occasions, they're different things. Dining out itself was $300 that we spent throughout the month. And that's not really including too many drinks because we just don't really drink that much. When we go out, we do eat at least 3 plates plus a dessert, which does make our meals more expensive. But again, we're taken away from the fact that we don't usually have too much. Like we maybe have 1 glass of wine or something like that, or 1 beer with a meal. But for the most part, we're not heavy drinkers. Eating out in Lisbon is very reasonable as long as you don't go to the touristy places. The more touristy you go to a place, the more expensive it's going to be. But you will find a good amount of quality food actually throughout Lisbon, not just in the touristy places. Wherever you go, you're going to find really good food. And if you go to the touristy places, it might be a little bit more upscale, and therefore you're going to pay a little bit more of a premium for what you go and eat there. Okay, coffee places. Going out for coffee is something that we definitely enjoy, and we do it wherever we go. Working online means that like coffee shops are something that we do look for when we want to change the scenery, to do some work for a few hours. Sometimes we'll eat, sometimes we won't. And if we do eat, it's only going to be a small meal. Usually it's going to be breakfast because we're out for coffee in the morning, but sometimes it can be a lunch as well. Something small. We don't really eat huge in these coffee shops. We'll go out mainly for the coffee and for the work, for the Wi-Fi, or just to enjoy ourselves and have a nice time. So in coffee shops, we spent $90 for the month. Coffee shops in Lisbon are actually very cheap, particularly for the bakeries, the padarias. You can pay like $5 for a set menu and you can get a full, eggs on toast with a coffee and a juice. That's actually kind of a traditional thing. Obviously, they've got the pastel de nata, if that's what you're interested in. We used to go to the bakeries quite a lot, and it was definitely one of our favorite things about Lisbon. If you've seen our top 3 things about living in Lisbon, you'll know that. If you haven't, I'll put it in the information thing above. Definitely recommend going to the padarias and having that as a real good experience as part of your time in Portugal if you go. Okay, coming in next is the transport. This was our cheapest thing, I think, from all of our categories so far. We spent about $80 for the month in transport. 60% of that actually was the Uber. So I said earlier that we didn't use Uber that much. We didn't, but that's how cheap the metro is. So 40% of it was the metro, 60% was Uber. Like I already said, because of our location, we had supermarket, coffee shops, souvenir shops, cinema, metro station. All of that stuff was within like half a kilometer of our house. And so being there made our transportation so much easier. We used to do everything just going out and walking. We didn't really worry about Ubers unless we were going with friends to a certain part of the city. Those are the only times I can recall taking an Uber. Otherwise, like we would go to the gym, rugby, jiu-jitsu, our friends' houses, going out to the coffees. All of that stuff was done walking. And if we wanted to go downtown, we would just take the metro, which cost $1.50, I believe. Again, I discussed the metro a little bit in our top 3 things about living in Lisbon. So for extra fun activities, we've not got a whole lot as far as bars and clubs are concerned, because that's just not our scene. A lot of our fun activities would be just going around and visiting the sites, which is obviously free. The beach is obviously free. So most of this comes down to going to the movies. So when we went, we would get a popcorn and a drink, 2 tickets, and that would cost us less than $20 to go watch a movie, which is significantly cheaper than what I've spent in the UK or the US. And then the cost of this per month, on average for our time in Lisbon, was $45. So with those categories all covered off, that gives us a grand total of $1,895 per month for 2 people, eating out, going to places, having fun, and I would say living very well. We enjoyed ourselves very much for those $1,895. Now, I didn't include every single cost that we incurred. I didn't talk about our gym, jiu-jitsu, traveling to Porto for the weekend, extra things like this microphone that I'm recording this video with. Because firstly, we got our gym for free. GoFit was a sponsor of Sport in Lisbon, who I was coaching and Bear was playing for. So we got the gym for free because of that. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was our other biggest expense. That was $80 a month per person. And then lots of extra individual things, such as, like I said, the microphone, things from the pharmacy, clothes, all these little personal individual needs that we did. Actually, we bought a few clothes because it was much colder in Lisbon than we had anticipated. There are quite a few things that Bear, as the financial tracker, didn't put on our list as far as cost of living goes. If we were to include all of those things for exactly what we spent per month with the clothes, the electronics, the travel into Porto, all the extra things that we spent, it comes out to, I don't know what it comes out to because I can't see it here. I'm just going to get her to put the total there. So what do you think? Is that a cheap cost of living, particularly for an EU country? Let me know in the comments below, or if it was more expensive than you thought, particularly as prices are increasing. I know quite a few Portuguese people that were telling me that it's actually getting more expensive. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with this. Also, if you want to know more about Lisbon, I'll put our 2 other videos that we did about Lisbon in the description below for you to check out. We are traveling full time at the minute, so we'll keep doing these kind of videos, even if it's just for our own interest, because finding the cost of living, as I said at the beginning of this video, particularly in the world that we're living and financials being a huge stressor on people's lives, it's interesting to see cost of living in different places and how that can work out and how you can leverage that to your advantage to live, a higher standing of living. If you're interested in seeing more of these videos or just more of our traveling videos, please support us by hitting subscribe. Obviously that thumbs up button, if you haven't done, really does help us out. Let me know any comments on our monthly expenditure, on Lisbon, what you think of it, where you find is going to be fairly cheap for us, anything like that. All comments are welcome in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.